We have said so much about gender-based violence in Swaziland so far in a very short space of time, and I don't know what is really the problem in Swaziland at the moment. And the problem is that what is so disconcerting about it, what is so concerning, what is worrying about it is that in all the cases we have been talking about, it's the police who have really been the perpetrators of this violence. Recently, just the issue that I want to discuss right now, which I want to talk about, is the fact that the police who were trying, maybe this was from the instruction from King Mswati, that they should make sure that nobody is going to demonstrate or nobody is going to show any support for the incarcerated MPs, the two incarcerated MPs. And in their overzealousness to do it, they dragged two women. They dragged two women and beat them up and almost undressed them. They were undressing small kids for bathing. And what I'm wondering about is that why does it have to be the police who really have to be perpetrators of this kind of violence instead of protectors? I once argued that instead, when we face issues like this, we look forward to the police for protection. Now, if it is the police force, if it is the police who are the mastermind and perpetrators of this kind of gender-based violence, who do we turn to for, who do women turn to for protection? They are overexposed. They are defenseless. Because they are very protectors are the people who are now attacking them. And I don't know what's happening to the Swaziland police force for them to really be so, what should I call it? To be so brutal. To use such brutal force on women. If it was on men, it's understandable because men can take it. Physically, men are very, very strong and can withstand any kind of fight. I think if they were many enough, these people, I am told that there were about 50 policemen who really did this to two women. And I'm not going to show any pictures of those women. Some of them, one of the ladies whose picture I saw, which pictures I viewed, she was actually naked. The top half of her body was naked. She was only wearing a bra. And I don't think that is the state that she wanted to be there wearing only a bra. She wanted to be there dressed in a political, or rather in a t-shirt of political part of her own choice. And these police, I'm told, they were so angry with these women for wearing this regalia, for wearing these t-shirts with maybe Pudemo inscriptions on them. And that's why they were so angry, and they had to drag them and beat them and then undress them to make sure that they don't go around in this political party trademarks. It's so pathetic, really. Swaziland, I think we have to look at it as a general problem. Maybe it's not only the problem with the police, but here, now for the second time, we are addressing a problem that women are facing at the hands of the police. And Mswati, who reportedly is ill from some kind of illness, maybe he should take his own medicine, because I remember last time he was saying if you drink this Amarula beer, you can cure yourself of some COVID-19. Maybe he should drink something else, because he's so good at really making these concoctions that are so ordinary, that are maybe toxic, to cure certain diseases. He should find something very cheap to cure whatever disease he's suffering from. Because I think most of the problems, when they happen like this, they are not coming from the police force itself, they are coming from Mswati himself. The kind of lack of seriousness with issues of concerning women, because I think if we were to dig deep inside his own harem, inside his own women, we will find issues like this. Him not being very polite, him being very abusive to his women. I had a whiff of a story like that, that Mswati is not very polite with his women. He's not very gentle with them. He doesn't treat them like ladies, the ladies that they are. So this is spreading like a cancer to the rest of the Swazi society, and the police, being such a weak police force, don't know how to hold it back, doesn't even know how to deal with it, so they end up maybe thinking that they are also supposed to be agents of abuse of women and abuse of women's rights, because by doing so they are violating women's rights, their rights to demonstrate, their right to wear exactly what they want, and their rights for association, to associate with the people that they want and to be there singing and doing whatever it is that they want. They are taking away a lot of women freedoms, and I think because of Mswati, because the leader condones it, the leader doesn't condemn it. The leader, I think the leader kind of really encourages it. So they find themselves maybe doing it because they want to be rewarded, because they, instead of being condemned and being fired, I think they, in the long run, they end up getting rewarded for this kind of behavior. And Mswati was also saying that you have to be polite, you have to be humble for you to look like you are in the first world. Why doesn't he just be humble? That disease that he has been shaken, I'm hearing now that that disease has been with him for quite a long time. And he thinks that being humble maybe will bring you in the first world. If it brings you in the first world, that means you are cured by the hospitals in the first world, which are really state-of-the-art hospitals. So he should be humble, and he's failing to do that. Is humility is something that he lacks, because when he opens his mouth, it shows the kind of disrespect that he has for his own people. The things that he say doesn't show any kind of thinking or any kind of respect for the people who are supposed to be listening to what he's saying. Because of course, when the king is speaking, people obviously will listen. And then when they listen, the kind of rubbish, the kind of garbage that comes out of their king's mouth is shocking. They are flabbergasted in most cases, because this is not kind of language that is supposed to be coming out of a king who is so noble and who is supposed to be worth of respect and virtuous. He lacks all those things that are virtues or that are supposed to be characteristics of a real king in a real world, in an African society. He lacks everything. The only thing that he has is the throne. And they say that if you have nothing to say, so fools talk because they have to say something, not because they have something to say. And I think your king, the king of Swaziland, he talks because he has to say something, not because he will have anything to say. He has nothing to say. He is somebody who doesn't speak very often, but when he speaks just rubbish. Something that you can. What is my take from this? Can we listen now? Let us listen to what the king is going to say, maybe. But then you listen at the end of it, or you find yourself really looking at each other in amazement, looking at each other in shock, wondering, what have we been listening to actually? What did the king say? It's a tragedy that we have a king like this who encourages this kind of things. And this Chief Mulochwa, who was the first one to say some nasty things about women. I heard that his homestead was burned in broad daylight. I could see some videos. I watched some videos of this happening. And I think this is the best karma for a person who is doing that. Remember, I said you can't just chastise some people. You can't just say mudsling and say trash about other people's women and then you expect to get away with it. And people really punish them in a very bad way. He was punished for doing that, and I think right now he's regretting it. He might have been showing some Dutch character by saying, you can do whatever I want with me, but I'm going to say it, these women are this and this and that. But right now, if you don't have a home, you really have to double up on your thinking. If you are lacking it, I think you wake up suddenly you are roused to reality and you realize that what I've said, at least maybe there are some people who don't really like it, and this is what they've done to me, as a sign, as a demonstration that they are really totally against what the things that I've said. To some women, that's such kind of desperation. Really, it is a shocking scenario, and I see a lot of things that are happening in Swaziland right now. I think the pro-democracy activists, the fighters are really trying to take it up to Mswati, and hopefully maybe they will succeed in putting pressure on him before Isibaya. I see a lot of pressure being mounted on him. A lot of pressure being mounted on him, and he's really getting to... I see a lot of pressure mounted on him, and he's really going to maybe say something. He's going to be serious about Isibaya, and maybe will take the pro-democracy activists seriously when he does meet them in a dialogue. In this whole disrespect of women, you can even see it in the way the state media comments on the police lady who decided to leave the police force and stay in South Africa. They regard her as a person who is like almost a prostitute. They refer to her as a prostitute, someone who has decided to leave a decent job and then engage in prostitution. When I saw that comment in the state media, I was really shocked. That lady who has decided to make a personal choice about her life is now being labeled a prostitute simply because she decided to do what she thought was right with her life. It's something that is really outrageous. In this world, a woman making a decision of her own like that is hardly something that you should that should cause you to give her labels, bad labels like that. I think it is because in the Swazi society, people think that women should be slaves. They must always conform to certain norms and certain rules and regulations, and they can't be seen to be straying away from what is said for them to do. And once they do that, maybe they are immoral. It's shocking. When I heard those kind of comments being made in the state media, I found it very shocking. And this would reflect on everything that the police... Maybe it is their attempt to protect the traditions of society, and in doing so, they find themselves at variance with the present-day reality, where you find that women are totally independent. I don't know when people are going to accept that. This police, this lady who is in South Africa, was just making a choice of her own, and people have no right to start calling her names because of that. I think these problems we are going to have them in Swaziland for quite a long time now. As long as women continue to do what is thought to be rebellious, and these policemen who undressed these ladies, I think their concept, they are people who has it ingrained in them that women are not even supposed to show any kind of to demonstrate or show what they feel. Women are supposed to be at home, quiet, waiting for their husbands. They still have that kind of backward and ancient feelings and stupid mentality that is no longer existent in the world that we live in. We are going to have these same discussions about Swaziland, and I think the attitude is have to change, starting from the home, starting from the family, upwards. We need to treat our women, our sisters, our wives, very differently, and the world has changed. When our attitude is going to change there in Swaziland, when we still think like people who are living in the 18th century or 19th century, where women rights were not even protected. Women were like slaves. Women were property of the men, and they could only do what the men had just instructed them to do. This has totally changed. This is We Africa. Please subscribe to the channel. And let us discuss this in the commentary section there. I want to hear your views. This is so important. I know I'm going to make another video in Swaziland about the way women are treated. It should start with Mswati, but then Mswati being Mswati, like I said, it's just a danda you will never learn from anything. He lacks he lacks the wisdom to really implement very simple things to protect the rights of women, because he himself is a perpetrator. He himself is at the wrong end of treating women. It's very bad in Swaziland, and I don't know what I can do. Maybe I don't have any power to change anything, but please, every man who is there in Swaziland, start treating women differently. See them and treat them differently, and maybe it starts with you. Before you can look at somebody else mistreating women, look at the way you treat women yourself. And maybe if it starts from individuals, then it can spread to institutions, then it can spread to the whole country, and maybe women will be seen in a different light and will be treated differently.